So in planning also, okay, I'll give you the complete subject. Functionality wise, you try to pick up the functionality, but in general sense, these are something which you also need to know. Like in planning, we have different types, like statistical key figure planning, we'll do statistical key figure, and also activity type. Or also when you talk about activity types, there are activity dependent, activity independent. Okay, likewise there are few more different planning types. I'll show you how we will be doing activity types of planning. One of the activity independent planning. And to make it more presentable, I had just uploaded some project data, so you'll be seeing some a different level of data also. Just a second, I'll just pick up some data. There is some data which needs to be posted in the planning side. I'll just pick up that. Just pausing the screen. So what we are actually doing here is we are just planning some cost element wise, and also we are actually posting some key figures to it. Okay. Version 0. Okay, version 0, and then from period 1 to 12 periods, and then fiscal year 2021, and then we have to give the cost centers. Okay, I have created few cost centers ranging from 1,000 to some range within this, and also some cost elements. I'll take the cost element range from, and now usually for this planning, what we do is we will be selecting the free entry, right? So here we'll be selecting the, I mean, this is a planning figure. We'll be selecting the relevant cost center for which we need to do the planning. For this instance, like production overheads, so we are doing this some planning, we are posting some planning figures for this cost center, for this cost element. Okay, what is this cost element? I'll just pick up this. Okay, 1 second. This one is okay, very good. So what happened is when I uploaded some GL masters, looks this particular account has skipped. One thing, we'll change this. My mistake. This is the data which I have to pick. So this might be a little boring for you guys to see just what we are doing, but I'm trying to actually post some values to the elements with relevant to the cost. Okay. After this, I'll show you some report also, and you'll understand how the cost is getting updated. So this account did not existed. Then I'll make this as primary cost element. For 3 and other cost center is 300. 300. Actually, I had uploaded everything, including plan data, budget data, everything yesterday, and luckily they told that everything is gone. Now we have posted this. Okay. What we'll do is we will actually pull up a cost center report to just I'll show you some values how it has popped out with the postings here. See, what we did is like we did a planning for different cost centers, like telephone for telephone cost center, for rent cost center, also for vehicles we did this, also for dispensary, canteen, welfare. So we have posted somewhere. No, I mean these are all planned figures. Okay, you will get this data. Remember, you will get this data, or at the time of postings, the end users also will be posting this. But we as a consultants needs to test the data first, whether this is getting posted up properly or not. So in that regard, I did some postings for statistical key figures. Also, I had did some postings for activity types and also for the cost centers. Okay, the same planning. There is no much complication in the planning side. The posting would be same. There won't be any problem as such. Okay. You can use KP06 for the planning of KP06 or KP46. These are some transaction codes. Once we do the necessary plannings, what we have to do is we'll be working with the distribution methods. Okay, distribution methods like for allocations, for we have different types. I don't know whether you guys know this or not. Periodical reposting, distribution, assessment, indirect activity allocations. These are something which we have. So what we do is we'll go with this distribution. This the transaction code is S underscore ALR underscore 87005903. Okay, this is this. Now what we do is will create some distribution cycle. We'll say this is a distribution cycle of anything, any identification. Okay, so we'll take this as distribution cycle and take the start of the month, start of the fiscal year. Okay. Just tap enter here. For what we are doing here is for each segment, so what we'll do is like for each segment, we'll be creating this distribution cycle for cost. So I'll take some identification, could be anything like D. Okay, we'll take segment one, and this segment one is like for telephone. I uploaded everything. I don't know why yesterday they have break up all the server. If not, we would have saved this time also. So here, posted amount, sender rule will be posted amount, sender percentage will be in percentage. We are not touching anything, but what we are doing is we are doing this for plan statistical key figures. Variable proportion type would be plan statistical key figure, and then sender receiver tabs. You see this? We are instructing that this cost center. What is the cost center which is sending the cost here? So we'll nominate the cost center. We'll set this cost center telephone for this telephone cost from telephone cost center. And what is the cost element? Cost element, we have telephone cost element. Okay. Right. And then or else we can do one thing, which because these are all one thing, we'll do like this. We'll go with the maximum. I'll tell you why we are going like this little later. Now, and receiver would be a cost center between the range. Okay, like we have given up to this range. Right. And then you have to select this receiver tracing factor, and here This is like plan statistical key figure and no scaling by default. And selection version would be 0. 0 is like, initially we have worked with this plan actual version, right? So that is the version here. And you can also give relevant activity type, but in our case, this case, it is not required. And statistical key figure, you'll be selecting the statistical key figure with the combination here 212. This one, telephone. For telephone calls, telephone cost center, we have selected telephone. This one, cost element we have selected, and telephone statistical key figures also we are selecting. So you have to understand this loop. Okay, when you are posting such kind of things, you have to also pick up the relevant these things. So attach segment button, click this again, will create this. Oh, anyway, see, every time when you are trying to create this assessment distribution cycles and all, every stage of segment you try to save it. Since it's a training, right, you guys may get confused, so better is save this. So this is again the same thing, plan active sender receiver tabs. We have to select the cost center. Actually, this one for distribution of canteen and dispensary, we have specific cost center mentioned, which starts with this personal department. Yes, and then another thing is should end with dispensary. So all this between these things comes for it. And receiver cost center would be from 2. And receiving tracing factor, here again, this plan statistical key figures and no scaling will be by default, and this thing will be version 0. Statistical key figure for this would be 1000. Better save it. I'll just go back at the other one also, I'll save it. Right, attach segment button, and again here for rent, again plan statistical key figures, then sender this value 6 for the rent. It is we have allocated 6910, I guess. Yes, 6910 only. Then first elements receiver, and then sender receiver this thing. Internal transport cost center is 6500, I think. So so this one again, it is same. We'll be having the same thing here. Sender receiver tab. I think the fourth one I have not saved it because it is capturing the same values. we'll take this as fixed percentages. I'll give you the notes, don't worry about this. Already everything is, available with me. Then receiving tracing factor, yes. So these are some, cost centers for which we have to distribute the value in the factors point. So cost centers. This one will go with, let's go with 40. $6,100, the rest of 10 should be configured. Cross check this whether because if values are not coming, then end result will not come. So now what we actually did is, see, this is a situation where the client wanted to have this kind of a planned, distribution for the planned data with various cost centers, with various cost elements, and the statistical key figures. Now that has been captured here, that the cycle has been captured here, and then we'll be executing this. So far what we did was like so far what we did was like, we just ensured that the cycle has been posted here, and then we'll be executing this cycle. For execution, KSVB is the transaction code. Remove this test run, and then the moment you select the drop down menu here for the cycle, it will generate the cycle here, and then let us execute for the 12 months. Okay, so it has 22 senders and number of receivers, it is of 244 receivers. Now we can see what is, who is the sender and who is the receiver also. Okay, we can see that. So select sender. These are the, different cost centers which are sending this, and these are the different cost elements which are getting captured, and this is CO currency values, and this is the profit center. Okay, sorry, this is the values for the, transfers. Now if you look at this receiver also, these are the receiving cost centers. This is receiving cost center and receiving cost element. Okay, and usually whenever you're posting any data, it is preferred to check, uh, the comparison report, S_AL_8701. This report is there here. So the material which I'm going to share you has each and every postings, which we posted into this sessions. You can follow that to understand the impact of, what is the changes which is coming here for the plan cost. The moment you're running the, plan for activity inputs and statistical key figures, along with the distributions and all. Okay, you try to see effectively and understand that. It is easy actually, if you are following that. What we will do is, this one is after this price calculation, we have to do with the price calculations. KSPI is the transaction code for the price calculation. Select this all cost centers, select all business process, remove this test run, and we are running this, price calculation here. Okay. So activity price calculation has been posted. Fine, right? So this is the posted values. There is no error so far, so it is working well. Okay. Now what we do is we'll be reposting. Remember, these are all plan figures which you are posting so far. We haven't posted any actual data in this in this transactions. So these are all planning only. So we can pull up this what you call a report on the cost center as usual. As every time whenever you're posting some values, try to go with 3611 transaction code to see the impact of it. Okay. I would like to tell you, most of the guys may not know this also in the screens. See, when you are calling up a report, if the report has multiple pages in it, what happens? If the report has multiple pages in it, you have to select this next page buttons, then it will show us. So this is plan cost for the cost elements which has been posted so far into the system. Right. So after price, what we need to do is we need to define the cycle for indirect activities and in the process. Okay. So that comes in the planning only. Indirect activity allocation. S underscore ALR underscore 87005471 is the transaction code. What we have to do is we will be creating a cycle here for indirect allocations. Indirect allocation, I'll be creating one cycle here. So this is for SG1. We'll say this is indirect allocation here from date and to date. Attach version 0. Okay, SG1. We'll say this is for and this is for indirect activity, right? So we'll be selecting this plan activity, variable proportions, plan activity, no scaling as usual, there is no change in that. Now here senders cost center, this will go with the repair cost goes with 6600 cost center. This one, okay. For this cost center and activity type, it goes with repairs. Activity type is 504, I think. Repairing hours, right? And then of course we are sending that cost to relevant cost centers anyway. And then activity type is this is the receiver from that sender. This is the receiver, machine hours for the repairing cost. Okay, so save this. Now after this, you also select the receiving tracing factor and then version 0, activity type. Again save it. In the training side, it is better to save every screen because it will be new for you guys, right? So it is better to save whenever you are giving the data there. Attach segment G2. Now we'll finish off this with one cycle. That should be good enough. Now we'll execute this cycle here. So execution. This is one indirect activity allocation. Right. So indirect activity allocation cycle here, and then remove the test one always, and then execute. Fine. Anyway, so it is a warning which has appeared. Let me check what is that. Start date does not include any senders. So glow general message cycle. One second, I'll just go back to that. There's something has not updated. If not, it will show you some split on the splitting of that activity. 1421, right? Okay, I'll take it first. Attach segment. Then okay, and then this is plan start. This is activity, right? Plan activity. No scaling, fine, sender receiving. And this is for this. Now it has saved, and earlier I don't know, for some reason it has not saved. So we'll run this execution. KC KSCP. Something is going wrong here, but anyway, it's not to be really worried about. It's just a indirect allocation, right? But usually it will show us the sender and receiver tracing factor of this. But it is not generating. Anyway, nice. Only one more time final check. I'll just try to see this, what has happened, whether the dates are correct. This date is correct, this date is correct, this one. Okay, attach segment. Okay, one second, I understood something here. Something went wrong, but anyway, this is not really to be worried about. It's just a cycle. Execution, if values it should generate, but I don't know why it is not generating. It is having some issues there. So this is something of indirect allocation, but again we also need to work with this splitting of the cost. So splitting comes with allocations again, cost splitting. Okay, KSS4 is the transaction code. Okay. So remove this test run and select all cost, and we can select a particular cost center, and then we'll run this. This is cross splitting for the cost center. We'll go with the cost center which has the value for machine A, and plan cost splitting execution. Okay. Cost elements, if you see the cost elements which got, for that machine A to run that cost, I mean, what is that cost center? Anyway, what is the cost center there? What does that mean by cost center? Huh? Fine. See, in this department, what we did is like we have captured the machine to a cost center. Okay, and now for that execution of the running of that machine, programming and all, whatever you say, that these are the some elements which are involved. Salaries means labor is involved, the employees are involved over there. Testing expenses, rents for that, canteen expenses, energy expenses, all these are pulled up for the cost center. Remember that. Okay, this is on the splitting side. Once we have run this, we also will need to work this define splitting structure. So what you do is select a new entry button. Let's say this is I'm just saving this here. Select this, and then we have to select for assignment. One second. If you go with this again, it will trouble us. 1 second. So this is a little tricky to understand here. What we are doing is we are creating a structure here, and then select this rules first. Okay, in the rule, because if you are not defining rule and directly assigning this, again in a later stage it is troubling us. So better is select this rule, and then mention some rule name like structure assignment of the rule which we have just created. Then splitting rules, version, we have our version, plan version is 0 version for the company code controlling area. So this is something which we have to do here. Then selection for assignment, cost element, from salaries. So giving the activity types. I did the same, but I don't know why it has thrown earlier errors. So we'll assign the splitting structure to the cost centers. Then for all versions. Yes, this is okay. Cost center. Okay. Change this. Now we have created the splitting structure. See, this is little tricky. Okay. First you select this. This is your cost center, and then select this in a splitting structure, and then edit, assign, shift F6. This one, like this. It comes like this. So save it. After this, execution is possible. Execution falls in easy access screen. The KSS4 is the transaction. This test, remove this test run, all cost centers from version 0 to period 1 to 12, and execute. What it says, exception wrong. This is some, not related to our program, but the table has an issue. The previous server, it worked well. Leave it, because in the last server it worked very well. I don't know, in this server I did not got a time to experiment on this server because it was given very late yesterday. So these are few plannings. I'll give you complete index of this, what we did so far and what is expected to do in the controlling side for the cost centers. There is one more area which is called as budgeting of, budgeting for the cost center. We have to define the budget profiles also, and then complete budget management will work with that. So first we can create, we can adopt any existing budget profile, but I'm just trying to create one, new budget profile. Here we have this for past, future, start, but I want this budget profile for annual values, also periodical values. So I'm selecting this, and distribution key also 0 indicating that it is manual distribution. For why we are not taking equal distribution, because there may be a situation where we need to do the planning for each period a different value. So if you select equal distribution, then it will it will not work well. So centers, budgets, change Z2, KP-Z2. Remember, in controlling side, K indicates, always K indicates cost center. Okay. Or relevant to cost. K indicating either it's a cost center or relevant to the cost. Remember that. So we have to pick up the profile which we have created. That is this is for budget profile. And then one second, what I did is I have selected this, right? No, we'll do this budget profile for all the cost center group. Hierarchy wise, I'm selecting this, and then so these are all some cost centers for which we can post the values. I think I have the data for it. Let me see whether I have it. No. Anyway, I'll post some values which are necessary. So random values, it's not necessary that you should have the correct values. Since it's a training, right? You can go with this. So usually fast entry should work, but no, it has not executed. I don't know what happened there. and I didn't want it to diagnose it. It is time waste, my time waste, because they are giving different servers, right? And I don't want to keep on doing the scratch work, which is of no use for me. See, with my experience, what I can say is like any project which you're talking about will be more or less complicated than what you're seeing right now. The application of your training or the application of your project knowledge will come into action when you can troubleshoot it and get the data back and the process back. No project will be like in some trainings I have seen nicely cake wise, they say like this is this, this is this, this is this, but that does not exist like that. In project, once you step in, you'll understand what you what is the patience you should have for dealing this work. Right now it's coming well. Simulation. So this is the entry. What you can do is if at all we are in the same server, then copy this transaction and this document. You can copy and you can use it for reference and post it if at all you are in the same server. Okay. Fine. So after this is the actual posting for the cost. So far what we did was we did budget, we did planning and all, right? Now actual has been posted and we'll try to see the report for that. Again, this is the report, cost center actual plan version. You will see the actuals getting posted, you will see the plan and the variances. Okay. Now the whole story goes on with this, like what is the absolute, see usually management, what does what does this report helps them is like they will see how much is the absolute variance for the cost and what is the cost element which is getting triggered. Then they will try to understand where is the process going wrong. Assuming like I'll just give a small very quick scenario. In a production department, if the production cost is going beyond the planned cost, going beyond the planned cost by 5% more, then it indicates that there is a wastage in the production. Okay, remember that there is a wastage in the production. Like that, every variance percentage will give a information to the management to capture where it is going wrong, in which department and where it is going wrong. Okay, so if you look at this, so far I had shown you this is yearly planning and then this is the monthly posting which we have did so far, but we can also pull up this month to month and then we'll see the absolute variance here. One quickly, we'll see that. Okay, so period the 7th to 7th, because according to us it is 7th period, right? So we pull up this report now. So this is planned cost and this is actual cost which has incurred. Okay, so if you are posting it, if you have a data to be posted, obviously you'll be given data at the time of project also. It is not an end user work, don't remember that. At the stage of configuration, we also need to post and we also need to ensure that the end user is getting the desired result. Okay, so we'll have this and you can go with particular cost center to understand what is the variance, what is the trend which is there, different types of the cost elements for that. The next thing is coming picture is like we have to see with the repost line items, reposting of line items. Usually all the repostings will be done with the help of KB61 as the transaction code. For instance, you pick up the document number. This is the document number. Okay, See what is happening. You observe this. It is showing first. It is showing the CO document in terms of because we are in controlling, right? It is showing the controlling document number and the period 7, posting date, document date, and also the company code for this. And then it is showing the reference document number. Okay, reference document number. So the moment you select this document, CO document, it will actually display the FA document. Let us execute this. Now see, we have different because this is a very big transaction which we have posted, right? So let's say this 1,50,000. Okay, we will repose this. We will be this distribution will be done. Double click on this. Now when you double click here, one second, let me also include, yeah, that should be good enough. So here what I do, from 1,50,000, which is cost center 1110, I'll distribute, let's say 50,000 to one more cost center, that is from wages. I'll distribute this to machine. Okay, so this is the contribution here. Just tap enter, and see, now earlier it was 1,50,000. It has been now distributed to 50 is distributed to 200. So this is distribution of line items, actual line item distribution, reposting part. So under CO, this is getting generated. One more document is getting generated. Now, a very basic question: since a new document has generated here, will in FI also there will be a new document getting generated? See, simple. Okay, I'll make it very simple. The thing is, like, usually the actual postings are done in FI. The repostings are done in the controlling, and the controlling repostings which are done here are not the actual postings which are done in the FI side. It is for internal purpose, that is for external purpose, right? In FI we are posting means it's for external purpose, and in CO when you are posting means it is internal purpose. So the documents or the corrections or the planning which you are doing for internal purpose will not affect the external documents. We have to do one activity allocation also. I'll take this activity allocation quickly. This is enter direct activity allocation. Okay, so here what we will be doing is we'll be doing some allocation part for this direct postings. In general, this is also we have in FI we have seen that reposting. What is the repostings we have seen? Adjustment entries in FI side. Adjustment entries. What we have seen. First question: you guys have a server access? See, there cost center wise there are more topics also. Generally when you encounter the production side, or when you work with the sales or management side, you will understand there will be different types of indirect activity allocations and activity allocations. This whole story goes on with indirect and active type of allocations. So, and it's not necessary that I should show everything or you should work with everything, but understand that there is a cycle here for assessment or distribution or actual line items postings. So you should get aware about that functionality wise, as well as the the system wise, screen wise also. So I can share you the data for practice purpose, but remember again, the data, you have to get used to the data. Then you understand the logic of posting and how these values are getting populated. If you observed, when we were running the cycle itself, in the line of distribution, we haven't posted any amount, but we posted the value. Automatically it has popped out the amount in the next to that. Have you observed that? Did anyone observe that? Generally when we have posting the transactions, I don't know whether you guys have observed this or not. uh, we have entered the value only. Okay, we have entered the portion of value, but what happened, it has actually distributed the amount also at the time of splitting the line items. Did anyone observe that? Fine, anyway, we'll go with price calculations also. Price calculation as an error, this one. Okay, I'm just marking this price calculation. I'll check the error. It is a runtime error. So somewhere some table, it has just been out of the proportion. Now we'll see one more indirect activity allocation also. So I'll just check this also. I have made a note of this. Usually this is not a configuration error. Maybe tables, first time they're encountering some data, at times it goes sometimes, like this. So splitting also has not worked well. Pricing and splitting cost. Okay, I'll just check this, today night. Fine. This is some cycle here. I'll share the material for this configuration also. Don't get scared of looking at the material. I want to give the best material which has some functionality as well as some examples of costing also. So maybe for guys, sometimes you may feel like this is little tricky, or little big volume in understanding that. But anyway, if you follow that patiently, you will understand that is a good material to understand the functionality as well as the configuration aspects also. We'll see something related to the internal orders also. This is interesting, more better than more comfortable than what we have seen in the cost center. By the way, we have seen, right, what does this internal orders are useful for? To capture the temporary cost, right? To capture the temporary cost. Once the cost is being captured by internal order, it has to be settled. By what time it has to be settled? By the period end. Okay, then only the internal order will be considered to be closed. If not, it will be still open. On what conditions the internal order will be open? Any idea? I mean, after the period end also. So anyway, see, when we are talking about internal orders, this is understood like it is capturing the temporary cost or a cost for a particular event, which regular cost center is not expected to cost at that particular event. Once the cost has been captured, yeah, as per the splitting and distribution level, it will be distributed and the internal order will be closed, right? So we'll see some basic configuration for this, and I'll also take up one example for the internal orders to make it more interesting. See, the situation is internal orders are considered to be the management decision making tools. Remember this, internal orders are considered as management decision making tools. Now the company has 16 wheel trucks. Okay, 16 wheel truck which is used for shuttling, from one department to another department. Now what has happened is it has two 16 wheel trucks and it wants to understand whether this truck A, truck B, what is the consumption of fuel consumption, and what is the maintenance of the repairs and maintenances. Okay, so now management wants to understand this. What it does it runs in internal order for a particular period of time to understand what is this, how much it is actually capturing, consuming the fuel, and how much it is incurring the maintenances. Assuming like the 16 wheel truck called A, it is consuming, let's say, 500 liters for a particular week, and then B, it is consuming 600. Now maintenance level wise, this is costing, for example, 2 hour 500, right? So let's say it is costing 10 hours maintenance for a week. Okay, and this is costing again 10 hours maintenance a week. Now management wants to understand why this consumption is more and why this is consuming less, provided the management assuming like if this truck B is put to use more time or more kilometers. So these are few details or few things which management will take into consideration before taking a decision whether this vehicle should be sent for repair or for maintenances or to be sold out, depending on the scenario of that. So we'll work with that configuration. So we have this, we have to define the order type. So new entries button, When you want to define the order type, it will ask you to mention the order category. Now order, internal order category falling here. One category one means for internal orders, two means accrual calculation order, three means model order, four means production order. Okay, like this product cost controller, quality maintenance, production, these are copy of these things anyway. So we have to take 01 as the internal order. Any other example of other than the 16 wheel truck? Can you think of any other example where internal orders can be put to use? See, I'm telling you something else also, but don't get confused. These are some things which you have to understand. That's the reason I'm trying to say something else to these examples. Productive orders, right? Have you heard of productive orders? Productive orders by any chance? See, productive orders which are value added, like for example, orders which can be capitalized. For example, in-house constructions, or in-house projects, we use these internal orders also for that. Okay, and when you talk about internal orders, one more thing is like it is a for the management point of view, for the operation point of view, it is most detailed capture report for the event or the activity in the accounting side. We have budget profile also already created. Is this the one we have selected? All right, anyway, I'll take the basic one. Object class, which we have four types. These orders can be classified in four types. One is overhead cost, one is investment, one is production, one is profit analysis. So I'm trying to use this for the overhead cost. Okay, and here you can define your functional area also, and model orders if any. Okay, this is for, I'm not using any functional areas. I haven't created this in the new server. If you see this number ranges are not assigned, non-assigned number ranges here. So the moment if you click this, it says like number range not processed. Just ignore it. Enter. Now click this assign or change number range button. Now here select your vehicle order type. Then create this. We'll create the number ranges for internal orders. Now select this assign element group button, and then vehicles usually falls in motor pool account. Okay, so motor pool account, just add this. I want to see whether this numbers have been assigned or not. Assuming it has been assigned, it has been assigned here. Okay, below one, right? Save the data, right? So we have created one order type, and maintain number ranges. Of course, we just did this number ranges for this order type. This is selected as external number range. Okay, so fine. Anyway, we'll give the numbers for that, right? Anyway, this version not required at this moment. Fine, we'll create the internal order. Two orders we'll create, and we'll run this internal orders to see the actuals and variance differences. So order type, we'll pull it from the list. So this is a manual input, so we'll create the number, some number, vehicle number PE9054. We'll say that this is 16 truck A, business area. Okay. Plant is not required. Anyway, so we have two options here. One is statistical order, one is plan integrated order. Do you understand? Do you know what is a statistical order in general? Okay, this is not about SAP. This is a general term, statistical order. What does statistical order means? Determines whether an order is a statistical order. No, see, for planning purpose, you use statistical orders. Okay, and this is something period end closing, general data, and then investments. Anyway, just create this and then save it. I'm not settling anything. We can give responsible cost center and all along with the profit center and all, but I'm just ignoring it because I want to run plainly the internal orders. Fine. So I'll post one expenses after 02 using this internal orders, but for the posting purpose, what we have to do is we have to make this 1 second. I'll create one more thing also here. This is standard. OBC 4. So this one additional account assignment. Okay, we'll make this COPP order. Earlier it is suppressed, but we are making it optional. The thing is, what is this configuration? We want to post the transaction into SAP system using FDES, the 02 or FB50. But in order to post the transaction, we also need to ensure that this field called internal orders is active. Then only we can use that internal orders field and then post as a reference to the posting side. So expenses I am trying to post here. I'll do one thing. I have not seen this fuel expenses here.
BOL expenses?
Where it is? Can you just tell the number? No, anyway, just 2 minutes, right? I will create one GL master for this fuel expenses.